Hi, Michelle Glass here. Welcome back to our final episode of Chapter 26, Lecture 26. And our topic for this video is micturition, which is how we get that urine out of the body. So a great finishing video for our urinary system. So micturition is our urination reflex, and there's actually two important reflexes to look at as part of this. Number one is our ability to hold the urine inside of the bladder, so that's the urine storage reflex. And then number two, the coordination of the release of that urine, so that's called the urine voiding reflex. All right, so in the urine storage reflex, of course, you've had the production of urine taking place in the kidney. It flows from the kidney via the ureter into the bladder. As it fills the bladder, it's going to stimulate stretch receptor cells, which are going to take that information to a sympathetic neuron, which will inhibit the detrusor muscle and contract the internal urethral sphincter. So as you study the anatomy of the bladder, you'll see that there is a smooth muscle on the outside of the bladder, and that smooth muscle is called the detrusor muscle. When it contracts, it's going to help squeeze that urine out of the bladder. So here we're going to inhibit that so that we're not having that pressure build in the bladder. And then, of course, the internal urethral sphincter is contracted to prevent leakage of urine out of the ureter. We will also see that those stretch receptors are sending the signal to what's called the Pontine storage center, which is located in the pons. And this will lead to the contraction of that external urethral sphincter, further preventing any leakage from happening from the urethra. Okay, so this is how we can hold our urine. All right, the urine avoiding reflex occurs when those stretch receptors are stimulated to such an extent that it is time to begin that process of emptying the bladder. So those stretch receptors are going to synapse onto neurons, interneurons, which synapse onto or take that signal to the Pontine Micturition Reflex center, which is located at the pons. The Pontine Micturition Center has neurons that will signal sacral spinal reflexes, and these reflexes are going to increase the detrusor muscle contraction. So the parasympathetic division is increasing the detrusor muscle contraction, so that's helping to squeeze the urine, build pressure inside that bladder, and also relax the internal urethral sphincter. But notice we are still keeping that external urethral sphincter closed, and that's when you get that conscious release of the urine, is when you relax that external urethral sphincter. The sacral spinal reflexes, there's three things they do. So we've talked about the parasympathetic division increasing the detrusor muscle contraction and relaxing the internal urethral sphincter. The sacral spinal reflexes also decrease the sympathetic activity. So that's pretty much turning off that storage reflex. And then we're going to signal the relaxation of the external urethral sphincter, which is that conscious release of the urine. And that is it for chapter 26.